So, I want to tell you about this show that I'm going to do. I'm so excited. I've been working on it for a couple of years now. I toyed around with the name of the show. I toyed around with the hostess, who it should be. It was originally supposed to be Miss Jodine and Friends. Then it was going to be Princess Anahita and Friends. But the thing is, with Princess Anahita, because she's Brehena Saithusa before she's become a dragon, um, I'm either going to have to find actresses to play her in real life, like at the resort and that when they're walking around, because it's going to be like Disney and all of that, remember? So, the characters are going to be walking around, and anyone who plays Princess Anahita either on the grounds or in movies or at children's parties or anything like that, she's going to have to know how to do a Kiwi accent, and nobody can do a Kiwi accent if they're not a Kiwi. Everyone gets it wrong. Even Anthony Hopkins didn't get it right. And he's the closest that came to it, but he still didn't get it right. We are a hard language to pull off because we're the only English-speaking country in the world that enunciates every vowel and consonant the way that it's spelt. So we are a hard language to pull off, and nobody gets it right. Nobody guesses my accent right. In the 25 years I've been living in England, I think maybe 3 people have guessed that I was from New Zealand, and that was because they visited or, they got family there or whatever. So I have to be careful with Princess Anahita. So then I'm thinking, maybe I have to change Brehena Saithusa's voice and make her slightly more enunciated and very sort of stern, but slightly English, because it's easier to do a very stern kind of New Zealand, very English enunciated, almost sort of English tone. Are you serious? I would never do that. That kind of thing. It's a lot easier to do that kind of accent than to do it with my own. So now I have to think, does Princess Anahita have to, be slightly English New Zealand? Because it would be easier to do. So I'm still working on that, and I'm not prepared to put that in front of the camera because of the fact that I'm the only one that's going to be able to do Brehena Saithusa. So if I'm letting anyone be Princess Anahita, she has to be spot on with how I see her represented from my stories and that in real life, because the role that she plays as an influence on children is very important to how the children are going to see Brehena Saithusa when she makes the occasional appearance, which will be me. Occasional appearance and character as Brehena Saithusa. So, so I'm not going to have Princess Anahita and Friends on that show. So I'm going to go back to Miss Jodine again, although her name might change. But I like the name Miss Jodine because of Dolly Parton's Miss Jolene. So I always, and because then it sounds like, one of those southern femme fatales, southern raven-haired femme fatales, with big giant blue eyes and, but she's like an innocent vixen. Like she doesn't know that she's doing it. It's just who she is. She just exudes that mystery and that because she's an underworld sorceress. She is the cousin to Ruby Corazon, from the Soul Collector. Her uncle is Hades. Her uncle is Odin. Like she's from that family, but, she's sweet and innocent, and the animals love her because, her grandmother is Goddess Demeter, the goddess of the forest and all of that. So she's got that gentle side like Ruby, But unlike Ruby, she doesn't have that ability to hunt and collect souls, in that she's more gone to the nurturing side of the sorcery. And she is a literal sorceress, as I've explained before. So what I'm going to do is, because she's going to cook on the show now, she's going to have puppet friends to pay our respects to Jim Henson, because I grew up with the Muppets and the Fraggles and all of that. So I'm having puppets because I want to do all genres. So Miss Jodine and Friends, she's going to have little puppet friends. There'll be animals and, little creature things and all of that. And some of them are going to be anthropomorphic actors, so they'll be like humans with, like, animal bits. So we've got like Mr. Barkley. He's going to be an actor dressed as like a old sheepdog sort of thing. He's the security guard dog. And so, he's the one that's going to teach the kids about, like keeping all your doors locked. Look, we're going to have police officer actors as well. We were thinking of doing ones like beavers and all of that, because you know how they're good at putting up walls and protection and having like wolves and all of that. Anything to do with protection. The security guard and police officers' badges are going to be the Wolf King's emblem, because the Wolf King is Brahena Saithusa's, he's like her head of security, her right hand man when it comes to security. In any of the stories, whereas where the Wolf King is there, and because Princess Anahita grows up with him as a child, so they're like best friends, they're inseparable. So she trusts him more than anyone. It talks about this story in the movie The Dragon Princess, but we won't go there for now. But yeah, so anything to do with the police and security, the emblem is the Wolf King's badge. And they'll teach the children about stranger danger and keeping the house locked, and being aware of your surroundings and what to do in emergencies and that. And then there's also Marcus Fireman Aurelius Fox. And he's the fire marshal, and he will teach about putting out fires and anything to do with fire safety. And he will work with Park Ranger Do Raimi, who's a doe, like a doe, a deer. So they're all human actors that are going to be dressed like animals, and they'll teach the kids specific things. But with Fireman Aurelius Fox, there's this thing going on with him and Miss Jodine, where there's like people aren't quite sure, are they in a relationship? Are they in love? Like, there's this thing between them that is magnetic, that people can see, they know it's there, but neither of them are saying a thing. And it's a will they, won't they sort of thing. And in The Art of Creation, Miss Jodine and Aurelius Fox's secret relationship, quote unquote, question mark, is Dober Drexel's obsession. Because they work together at the network, and she's a karmic news reporter, and she's wanting to know, like, because like, isn't he in a relationship with that person? Wasn't he linked to so and so? And she's, men falling at her feet that she's completely unaware of. But whenever they're together, there's this thing between them. So whoever plays Miss Jodine and Aurelius, named after my favourite philosopher Marcus Aurelius, which is why I went to call him Marcus, they're going to have that spark between the two of them. They're going to have to be very good at acting that kind of magnetic attraction. So, yeah, but also because then she's going to be able to teach the kids about animal totems and their totemic values. And we'll just create all these stories where they're all needed at certain times. Like we've got hedgehog. Well, we're not sure on whether to have hedgehog or porcupine garbage collectors, and they're going to come and teach about the importance of recycling and putting everything in the right bins, and about recycling and where the garbage goes, and keeping the countryside clean and all of that. So, you know, all the animals and all the characters and all the puppets going to work together. There's a nemesis with a couple of henchmen. The nemesis is going to be some sort of goblin puppet thing, you know, like Swiper No Swiping, you know, Dora the Explorer, and you like the cheese burglar and all that. All of them had anti-heroes. All of them had what's SpongeBob? What's his name? Plankton. How Mr. Krabs has got Plankton. Well, Miss Jodine's going to have a nemesis as well, but it'll be a puppet who's always trying to steal the recipes, because Miss Jodine's going to cook with all our food products, all our supernatural recipes. She's going to be the face of the brand of the supernatural foods. And so she's going to be cooking on the show, making recipes with all the sauces and foods that we make. Our jams and our sauces and pickles and, you know, all of that, all of it. She's going to be cooking to show people how to use my products and that. But what I've decided is I'm going to let kids write in and recommend recipes that would need our sauces. And then she'll put them together on the show, and if any of them are good enough, like all the best recipes will go online and get put into our little cookbook, and if they're really good recipes, we'll put them on our menu, and if they're exceptional recipes, like really popular ones, we'll put them in our international eatery, and the child that recommended it will get like a free pass, and they'll get like, you know, like a free pass to come and stay. And you know, they'll get credit for it, and their photo and their recipe will go on like a Hall of Fame thing, and they'll get like a special badge, like an honour badge. So yeah, that's what I've decided. And yeah, because I've been trying out a lot of recipes from YouTube. I've been trying out a ton of recipes, and I've been modifying them and tweaking them, and I just made a potato fritter pizza that my boy said is, because I want it to go, I'm going to have like a breakfast, brunch, lunch menu, and my breakfast, brunch, lunch menu is aimed mostly at like my construction workers and my builders and anyone who's working out at our gym that's built up an appetite that needs a lot of protein, or a hearty meal to start the day, or maybe they need a hearty meal because they know that they're going to be going on to set and probably won't stop, or they're going to leave the foundation and go off an adventure and they've got a long drive, or maybe they're passing through and they're grabbing something to eat before, you know, they head off on a long drive, or can eat along the way. I need a specific menu for that. And these potato fritter pizza slices are perfect for that. So I got the recipe off YouTube and I modified it a little, and the boys loved it so much they want me to make another one next week, but they've suggested new ingredients, which I'm going to try. And I'm also going to have a go. I made them my mum's bread and butter pudding, and they absolutely loved it. So I'm definitely going to sell bread and butter pudding. And next week I'm going to have a go at making my mum's banana and apple fritters, and I'm so nervous. So yeah, because they're all things that I want people to be able to, you know, buy a couple of apple fritters. You know how you'll buy a couple of like a bag of donuts and walk around the beachfront eating donuts. Well, I want people to walk around and eat our big apple fritters and our big banana fritters, and maybe even corn fritters. So yeah. Yeah, so I'm getting right into it. I'm starting to put the menu together, and the thumbnail for this video is the photo that I took of the pizza. The recipe didn't call for putting the pepperoni on it, but I had to use up some pepperoni, or it was going to have to get thrown out like in a couple of days. So I just chucked that on, and the boys said it was good. They actually liked it. They preferred it with it on. So so next week I'm going to modify it, and yeah, I'm so excited because it's the kind of recipe that I can fiddle with, and give people different options. Let them choose their own ingredients for it. They can sit down and have a coffee while we're baking it, and yeah, they can either like carry it off, eat it on the grounds, eat it in the cafe bit, But it's the perfect kind of meal. And like, because obviously with my construction workers and my builders and all of that, I'll have a food van where we'll sell like my omelets and sausage rolls and fried breakfasts and all of that, so they can sit and have a good feed. Because I got to take care of them, because I couldn't not feed them. I couldn't bear the thought of them going to work with no lunch and that. So some women don't send their men off to work with good packed lunches, so I need to take care of them for that. I am the woman who makes her husband pack lunches and leaves little love notes and that. So I need to know my men are eating. My boys are starting to complain that I'm feeding them too much, although they're saying don't listen to them, because I've noticed every time I say, like I said to them, should I maybe not do a pudding and a cookie? Should I just do maybe a pudding one week and a cookie the next? And they were like, don't you dare. They said, no. They said, because we can always take the uneaten cookies back with us like it's night. They like being sent back with bags of food because they get to live on it for a couple of days. So they love being my guinea pigs. And my poor guy upstairs, Liam, I think over Easter I took him about seven different things to try. It felt like about seven. It was probably only one, two, three, five. Was it five things I took up? I think 5 things. Yeah. He's loving every minute of it. He lives for my cooking. He says it's the happiest day of his life when he hears that knock on his door and he hears me say, "Food Fairy." Because he's the one that gave me the idea for Food Fairy deliveries. So, like in our resort and at the foundation, you'll be able to order food on our app through the Food Fairy. And they'll go and get the food from, anywhere on the compound or, whatever you're wanting. And they'll deliver it to you. So, like, even the kids can get food delivered to their dorm and that. So yeah, Food Fairy deliveries, because like the older kids, the kids can get jobs. There'll be plenty of jobs for the kids to have to earn extra money. So yeah, so that's what I'm going to do with Miss Jodine and Friends. I don't know that I want to change the name. I've kind of grown in love with Miss Jodine, because every time I say it, it reminds me of Miss Jolene. And that song is about "Please Don't Take My Man." Miss Jodine she's like the femme fatale, but she doesn't know that she is. She gets accused of being like a man stealer and a home wrecker, and she's completely innocent. Like she's virtuous, and so like she cares about the nature and the nurture of the child and their environment and all of that. So she's not a hippie. She's just at peace with the world, at peace with the universe, because she understands the underworld, so she appreciates the above world, because when you come from the underworld, you see things completely differently from those that are from the above worlds. You appreciate the above worlds a hell of a lot more when you see what goes on down there. And so she gets to live in that zen that she's created for herself. So obviously when these kids are sending in their recipes, she's going to be talking about the totemic value of the vegetables and the minerals and all of that she's using in these recipes, so that the kids can learn about the importance of why Indigenous people put so much value in animal conservation and nature preservation, because they're more to us than just a food supply. They give us life, they give us soul, they breathe air into us in not just physical ways, but in spiritual and mental ways as well. And we appreciate that. And so, Miss Jodine is going to come along and she's going to say, we're going to be using potatoes and this, or we're going to be using flour and sugar and raisins. And did you know that the totemic value for the raisin comes from the grape, and the grape is the totem value for this? She'll explain it all to them, so kids will appreciate what they put into their mouths more. They'll want to be putting better, healthier things in their mouth, because they're going to believe, they're going to know and understand that it's giving them magic powers. It's giving them superpowers. It's going to give them abilities that they didn't know were there, because they tune their bodies in from a very young age. So they'll become more perceptive, they'll make better decisions, they'll have more clarity in that. She'll be able to show them how to eat things like jam and cakes and all of that without having to put sugar into your body that causes things like depression and joint inflammation and all of that. And have our products where you can still have your chocolates and that without any sugar in it, just be just as sweet, where you don't have to worry about watching your calories. And when you eat it, it's actually going to make you feel better. My sons have been coming to me since my boy turned 16 on the 12th of January. When he first got here, his skin was horrendous. His acne was so bad. He was like, his skin was inflamed. He had like massive pustules. His like head had big sores on them. And just by him coming here once a week and having good food and me looking after him and him starting to relax and him starting to become creative again and step into his own and finding his path, because he now sees his future, his skin's starting to clear up. He's used my products, which we're going to sell in the store, and his skin is almost cleared. I reckon another couple of months and you won't even know that he had acne, because his vagus nerve has become activated, his pineal gland is decalcifying, he's starting to relax, he's starting to calm down, he's starting to find peace, because he can see the light at the end of the tunnel. He sees where this is going now, and he's starting to relax. And now that all of this has happened with Santaro, and I'm now getting justice for it, he knows that we're almost out of it. And when he turned up yesterday, his skin was just, I was so taken back by how clear and lovely it was. So my baby's starting to heal, and I can see it. It's showing on his body. So that's how I know that the tide is changing. So anyway, I just thought I would share, because I've got a lot of projects to hand people as soon as we get the show on the road. Well, funny I should say that, because I would love Miss Jodine and Friends, and like the Dragon Princess and all of that. They could absolutely be theatre performances where we could send the actors and that on tour buses to go around and put on shows in theatres for these kids. And on every now and then, on very, very rare occasions, Brehena Saithusa will turn up. But I'm not going to make an appearance as her until I get her dresses ready, her gowns and all of that. I've got to have her crown designed and all of that. So, she's not making an appearance until just everything is finally tuned with her, because I still haven't mastered her accent. And I'm the only one that's ever going to be allowed to do her voice. So, the Grand Empress Fairy Godmother. Okay, so anyway, I just thought I'd share. Oh, it's getting exciting. I'll speak to you later. Ka kite anō. Mwah.